During World War II, there were a multitude of things to worry about. But even before World War II started, there were plenty of signs that there was going to be a lot of trouble. And so one of the things that the world, or particularly France, decided to take care of was the Mona Lisa. In August of 1939, not September, but in August of 1939, after lessons learned in World War I, and after the world climate that was showing that war was coming, the Louvre decided to take its most precious works, among them the Mona Lisa, in August, and box them up and hide them in the Pyrenees. And when I learned this, I was saddened, because as important as the Mona Lisa is, as a beautiful painting, a historical painting with such history, there were so many thousands of people, millions of people, that would come to lose their lives that no one was thinking about in August of 1939. It took until 1945 for World War II to end, and yet the Mona Lisa was safe. And it shocks me and it upsets me. And I was thinking about this because our speaker tonight and tomorrow morning, Dr. Rachel Schreiber, is bringing us another aspect of World War II that we don't often think about. What happened on this soil, in this country, and what happened here, and how we handled this situation. When I think about the Holocaust, I think about Europe. And I think about the 6 million that died, about the Nazis that were allowed to do what they do, the nations that sat idly by, in the United States, which, God willing, took the best course that they could to change the outcome of World War II so that the Allies were victorious. But to take care of the Mona Lisa in August of 1939 pains me a little bit, because it's a little selfish, I think, on the Louvre's part. At the beginning of this Torah portion, Ve'et Hanan, we have a little selfishness on the part of Moses. Moses has been devoted to God, but there is a humongous regret that Moses is going to have. And that regret is not that he's not going to see the Mona Lisa, because it hasn't been invented or painted yet, but that he's not going to get into the land of Israel. It is the one thing that he wants more than anything. And yet he has this direct relationship with God. He is remembered for good. He has guided the Jewish people in this position of honored leadership for 40 years through the desert. And yet this Torah portion opens with a selfish Moses saying, I begged. That's where the Hanun, this like pleading, this begging. I begged God to let me into that land, and God will not. And it's a deflating moment, as deflated a moment as realizing the Mona Lisa was saved even before World War II started, while many lives were not. But there is repair. In the same way that there is repair, and we'll hear about that in World War II from Dr. Schreiber, and where there are moments of repair and of hope and of helping that happened in World War II, so there is repair here at the end of the Torah portion. The end part has the Shema and the V'ahavta, and we'll read that part together. But right before that, it is not a Moses selfish and alone that is talked about. It is about the Torah and its laws that should be passed on from the whole generation to the whole generation. That is when the goodness and the saving happens. When we don't only think about one painting or one person or one desire, but we think about the larger community. And the clue to me that that is the right thing, this larger community focus that happens, lies in the fact that that name for the land of Israel, the land of milk and honey, which we hear so much, which appears in this Torah portion, lies right before the Shema. It is as if you can't have the land of milk and honey if you don't understand that it is not about one person. It is about all of us not seeing or saving, but hearing, really, really hearing the words that this Torah teaches to us and carrying them out for the rest of our lives and for making sure that the generations after us have them. The Mona Lisa is safe, as far as I know today. I didn't check the news from France. Many lost their lives. And it's that in-between space between nachamu and love, between comfort and loss, that we sit as a people so much. And so perhaps with new eyes, we see that Moses cannot only advocate for himself, he must take up the end of this Torah portion and make sure this is taught for the generations. Shabbat Shalom.